The 910 Comedy
Podcast Network.
Welcome to Marital Tiffs, where we invite you into our marriage to debate the not-so-important topics, discuss each other, and more. I'm Tim.
I'm Karen.
And we're a couple of married geeks who often get very passionate when we disagree about the super important topics like our favorite TV shows, personality traits, and whether $150 is better spent on a kitchen knife or a lightsaber.
I wonder.
One gets seen.
One gets seen?
Yeah. Nobody's looking at your kitchen knives, Karen.
One gets used.
Yeah, but nobody's looking at your kitchen knives.
Don't use my name in that derogatory way.
Why not? Everybody else does.
Burn!
So how you doing tonight, babe?
I'm good. I've been seeing a lot on my Facebook, actually, people sharing these posts about Doritos that have a new flavor of like dill pickle.
I haven't heard of these. I knew Pringles has, or Lay's has a dill pickle.
Okay, let me talk for a minute about Lay's dill pickle chips. They used to have, Lay's did me dirty. Lay's did me dirty with these dill pickle chips, okay? They used to have...
This isn't a topic you care at all about.
I'm so upset. They did me dirty. They used to have kettle-cooked dill pickle chips. And now... they have regular, stupid, boring dill pickle chips.
But they don't make the kettle-cooked ones anymore?
They make them, like, in Canada. They have them in Canada, but they don't make them in the United States anymore, and they don't ship to the United States. And believe me when I say that I have looked. They did me dirty with these dill pickle chips. They used to be, like, my favorite snack of all time, because the kettle-cooked are so much, like, crispier and more delicious and awesome just overall. But now they just have, like, the thin, like... flaccid dill pickle chips that are like an okay substitution.
So the moral of the story is that we need to expand our listenership to Canada so that you can have the hookup.
Oh my God. If ever this show reaches Canada.
I mean, we've reached Ireland.
Have we?
Yeah, we've had a couple of listens, I think, from Ireland.
Oh, hello.
Hawaii. We've had some from various places, just nothing in Canada.
Well, listen, if anybody has the hookup in Canada, I will love you forever and definitely give you a shout out if you send me some stuff across the border.
But anyway, back to your Doritos.
Yeah, I looked, though. They look like they're a real product. I looked on Walmart, like grocery pickup, and I looked on Amazon.
Of course you did.
And obviously I did. But they're not there. So I'm like, is this even real? Like, I have no idea. I have to investigate further. So that's been a very highlighted concern of my week. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. We discovered a new game show we liked.
We did. It's so good. It's called Don't.
And it's hosted by Adam Scott, and it's from the mind of Ryan Reynolds, who also does like voiceover color commentary.
It's so funny. It's so like...
This show is something that could only have come from the mind of Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, it's only got one episode so far at the time that we're recording this, but it's definitely going to be something we follow throughout the season, and hopefully it gets renewed.
And if they want to sponsor us, we won't turn it down, since we're getting a shameless plug. We
definitely would, like, talk way up about that show, because we were dying laughing. It was so funny. So funny. And, like, it's, I think... it's been like recorded obviously previously, but it's the voiceovers have like obviously been done since quarantine happened, because there are a few like quarantine jokes in there.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely bored in quarantine.
It was super relevant and just really funny. Basically the premise is like that you say it's a family, like a la Family Feud style, but it's only one.
Kind of. It's almost like Adult Double Dare.
Kind of, yeah. And like
in
they
a way.
say each challenge they pick like a family member or rotating family members to not do something. So like one was don't drink. So the guy had to like
the guy was on a treadmill and eating increasingly hot
heat
peppers.
lamps on him with and he ate like a freaking ghost pepper, and every time he didn't drink a beverage they won money. And
it went from like from a jalapeno to a Thai chili pepper to a habanero to a ghost pepper.
It was so honestly funny. Like the commentary alone is just mwah, chef's kiss.
And I am convinced that there is no difference between Adam Scott and Ben.
Ben from Parks and Rec. From Tommy's Place.
Because that was the exact same person.
You can tell, like, he seems like such a cool dude, but you can tell, like, some of the comments that, like, the contestants made were kind of, like, silly in the moment. Obviously, like, when you're in that kind of high-pressure situation, you're not gonna, like, always come off the best or say everything perfectly, but some of it sounds a little silly, and you can tell how hard it is for Adam Scott not to like make a sarcastic comment and like make fun of them. Like you can really tell it's so funny.
For the record, we have one listen each from Scotland, England, and Germany.
Wow. Well, hello.
Not one listener, but one listen each.
Okay, I'll take it. Listen, we need to get Canada on board.
Yeah.
Get that all international sense going.
Definitely. So what are we talking about tonight?
So we're also rewatching How I Met Your Mother. Yeah. And right now we're in season 1 of the show. And that is, if you guys are familiar, that's when we meet Victoria, who is ends up not being the match for the main character, Ted, the protagonist. So I kind of thought, literally, like, I came up with this tonight, and I thought it'd be kind of funny to go through some of the famous, like, misses in fictional characters.
Couples that should have been. Or if they were not endgame and should have been. So definitely one that I want to talk about is Ted and Victoria. Yeah, I really thought that this was the perfect match for Ted. They had that incredible meeting. I guess the definition of a meet cute.
No, that's not a meet cute. They locked eyes from across the room. That's not a meet cute. A meet cute is like when you like are holding your books in the hallway of school and you like
I guess
bump
I just
into
don't
them.
understand terms.
Well, I might be wrong,
but you know, it was that incredible first night with the drum roll.
Yeah,
and
I don't know though. And I think that they did this on purpose. At the end of their relationship on How I Met Your Mother, it was very clear that they were not going to be right for each other. But I think that the showrunners even said, like, if the show had been canceled, it would have been revealed that Victoria was the mom.
Yeah.
But, like, at the end there, I don't know. Like,
well, yeah, at the end they were different people, but they had also been through a lot. And for one, spoiler alert.
Yeah, this entire episode is spoilers,
she
by the
left her husband to be at the altar to be with Ted and didn't end up with Ted.
Right. Yeah, there's definitely some, like, he cheats on her to be with Robin, like, she stays in Germany. It just, I don't know.
If Victoria had never gone to Germany, they would have been the perfect match.
Well, when we were watching earlier, you said, like, that's who should have been the mom. Victoria should have been the mom. She should have been the one.
Absolutely. Because I believe that her leaving for Germany is what caused all the changes that made it so that it wasn't possible for them to be together later when they tried again. I'm not blaming her. I'm just saying that's the event that caused that trend. If they had stayed together then, they would have been fine.
It would have been interesting how they would have rewritten the show. Like, if it had been canceled and if they had to, like, oh crap, we need to make Victoria the mom. Like, how would they have changed it so that we wouldn't be like, this is not a good fit? Because I think you're right. I think that, like, she left and they broke up because he cheated and it was long distance and, you know, all that stuff. But, like, what was their plan from there? How are they going to make it so that she was the mom? I just...
Yeah,
like,
I don't know.
You said that she would have been... She was supposed to have been the mom in your mind. Like, that's who you wanted. Like, the time that you were watching the show, you were like, it should be Victoria.
That's of all of the relationships that Ted has to the show, that first iteration of Ted Victoria was the best.
Really?
To me.
I don't know. I think him with Tracy is who he should have been with. And I'm so mad. Don't even get me started. I'm still so mad at how they ended that show. Like, that was his perfect match. So I definitely don't think...
Well, I mean, no, his perfect match was the one from the dating website.
The one that he never could end up with because...
The 96.
The 9.6.
Or 9.6.
Who ended up with her 8.5 match or whatever.
We're getting off track now. Let's go back to the next couple.
So, Community.
Now, this is a show that we discovered way late.
Yeah, like all the seasons had come out already. We just started watching it.
We just discovered it this year.
Was it this year or was it late last year?
I think it was in January.
Yeah, so we're pretty late to the game. So it's pretty fresh in our minds. And obviously we were able to like binge it all as opposed to having pretty much all of these shows we binged.
Yeah.
You know?
Pretty regularly.
So Jeff and Annie is who I have for you next.
So this is the one that I probably have the lowest to say or the least to say about, only because I've only watched through the show one time. You know, How I Met Your Mother and Friends and all of these other shows I've watched.
We do this thing where we like have
Dozens
like 10
of
shows that we just rewatch over and over again as like our bedtime shows.
Yeah, we're just unwinding. We don't want to get involved in anything. And Community's getting added to that cycle, but we've only watched it one time.
Yeah, I don't know your opinion, but for me, like everyone was all like, "Oh, Jeff and Annie, they should have been together," but I never thought that they should have been. First of all, it was a creepy relationship from the beginning.
In the beginning, it would have been a creepy relationship because she was freshly 18. Joel McHale's quite a bit older.
Yeah.
By the end of the show, it would have worked a lot better, but at the beginning, no.
I mean, it's one of those, like, what is the rule? Like, half your age or
half plus 7.
Half plus 7. I don't know if that would have been true at a certain point. Yeah, I don't know how
old Joel McHale is. I don't think that guy really ages. He's like Paul Rudd.
Or how old his character is supposed to be.
Yeah, that's very unclear, but he is a lawyer.
They hinted, though. Like, they wanted us to root for Jeff and Annie. Like, they did a lot of different tropes to make the audience
there was that whole, what was it, season 1? I think. Wasn't it season 1 that ended with him
kissing her? I don't know. I think it was season 1. But, like, they did so many things to make us want Jeff and Annie. But I also think that might have been, like, the joke of the show.
Maybe.
Because they have a thing about, like, calling out different tropes on TVs. And, like, this is this episode.
Maybe we'll find out they ended up together in the inevitable movie.
6 seasons in a movie.
# 6 seasons in a movie.
So do you think that they should have ended up together or no?
I don't have a strong enough opinion one way or the other because I need to go back and watch that show again.
I feel like they knew they needed romantic interest because sitcoms just have that built into the formula.
And it was never going to be Britta or whatever.
But it was Britta for like a minute.
I mean, that's how the show started, but it was never going to be Britta.
I'm a much bigger fan of Jeff and Britta than I ever was of Jeff and Annie.
I disagree, and that's because I think Britta was too strong of a woman for Jeff.
So Jeff's like... What does that say about Annie?
I mean, the character of Annie was very,
Annie was
insecure.
Really strong. At the beginning, she was, but at the end, she was like a whole woman. She was like...
Yeah, but a lot of that's the influence of Britta, too.
Sure.
She had spent 6 years around Britta, who was very woman power, and that's not the type of character that Jeff could have been with.
Why?
Because Jeff is a little bit chauvinistic. He's a little bit, he's got a little bit too much machismo, I guess is the word.
He has a big ego.
He couldn't handle being with a strong woman.
I didn't really love him as like a character anyway. So I don't know that he would have deserved to have been with any of the women on the show. But now we're moving on. I want to discuss 2 different couples from my favorite show, which is Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Okay.
So
we've gone into detail about your love of Buffy.
We have, and people who who listen to the show, who consume the show, know that I'm a big fan of Buffy. Yeah. But I do have 2 problems with the show, and that is that these 2 couples, in my opinion, should have been Endgame. One of them is Buffy and Spike. It should be Spike, not Angel.
I don't know. I don't know that Spike was a healthy enough relationship for her.
Oh my God, Spike adored Buffy. He loved her so much. And let me just talk about really quick season 2. Anyone who says like, no, it should be Buffy and Angel. Let me talk about season 2 for a hot second. When Angel loses his soul and literally is like the worst person, terrifies Buffy, who kills her friend. Like,
yeah.
Spike didn't have a soul for most of that show, and he was able to like be in love with her and know right from wrong, and like let his love for Buffy try to make him a better man, as opposed to Angel, who loses his soul for 6 months and like can't handle it and terrifies Buffy beyond all reason, beyond ever wanting to be with him again.
Yeah. On the other hand, you have Spike, who went literally to the ends of the earth to get his soul to be with Buffy.
To be a better person for Buffy. I mean, there is like a very bad, very horrible scene in the 6th season in which he does something pretty awful, or attempts to do something pretty awful to her, which is like my one hang up about Spike and Buffy. But I also feel like it was bad writing on the part. Like they, in the writers' minds, like they needed something that was like a last straw, or like a big kind of breaking point for Spike to need to go do that. And I really disagree that they did that to him. But, you know, aside from that particular aspect of his character, I think that he mostly did right by Buffy and her friends. And like, even though it was against his nature, he still tried to care for her and love her. And it should have been Spike.
It is worth noting that Joss Whedon himself is Team Spike.
Hell yeah, because Spike is better than Angel by all meanings of the word.
But the other relationship from that show that you want to have a problem
and
with.
Giles. Joyce and Giles. They should have been together. And like they were under the influence of like magic.
Yeah.
But like, they should have been together. They were so perfect. They were so
I disagree,
cute.
only because, like, I don't think that Buffy's father figure needs to end up with her mother just to make the show work.
Why not? Buffy deserved it. She deserved to have a family.
She already had more than every other Slayer had.
Yeah, absolutely.
Why does she need to have a complete family too?
Because every person deserves that. It has nothing to do with her being a Slayer. Every human being deserves every like level of family and love and comfort and safety that they like should have in life.
But she had all that, especially compared to the other Slayers. She had a loving mother. She had the sister. She had the friends. She had every other Slayer just had their watcher.
I just don't understand why they didn't even go there. Like they never even explored it beyond it being like a joke. In the Band Candy episode, it was like, oh, ha, 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 they slept together. But I don't even know why they didn't even like explore that. Like Joyce deserved better. I mean, the only love interest we see her having in the show beyond like the dude that was dating her when she died and Buffy's dad is like Ted the robot. So I feel like Joyce deserved better. Hashtag Joyce deserved better.
Okay. Fine, we'll have to agree to disagree on that one. I don't think that Joyce and Rupert needed to be together.
All right, well, how about this one? Let me throw this one at you. From Boy Meets World, Angela and Shawn.
Agree.
Definitely agree.
Hardcore agree.
They did Angela dirty.
They really did.
What happened to Angela? She left like the episode before the finale. She wasn't even in the finale episode. Yeah. And then, like, they left it on this note
Didn't
of, like...
she leave with her dad? Like, he was going to Germany or Japan or something, getting stationed there.
Yeah, I think so. But England. They left it on this note, I thought, of, like, we're together. But then, like, we didn't really watch Girl Meets World. I think we watched, like, 1 or 2 episodes. But I know that they did meet back up, those 2 characters, in that show. And they just kind of were like, yeah, we never dated. Okay.
Yeah,
we never ended up together.
It was what should have been, but never was. That one, I 100% agree with. I mean,
They needed each other so much.
They really did.
I loved Shawn and Angela. Like, they were my favorite.
And Angela made Shawn such a better person.
Yes, like, she opened him up and she showed him, like, the love that and like kindness that he always wanted from somebody.
But not only that, she helped him, like, express his feelings in ways he had never
in
before.
a healthy way.
He was always like that tough kid from the wrong side of the tracks, and then he was like writing poetry about her and all of that. Like, when he hit college, and Angela just kind of brought out that soft side of him.
But Shawn, like, helped Angela too. Like, Angela was pretty damaged from, you know, her mother's relationship and like, and her father not always being around and stuff like that. Like, they helped each other. They were so good for each other. And I feel like they both were like the rocks that Corey and Topanga, who were like the main, you know, love interests of the show. They are what those two characters needed to ultimately end up together.
Yeah. But they were also, like, they were always there. The two of them were always there whenever Corey and Topanga had issues.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, they were the ones that brought them back together after the whole ski lodge incident and when they were going through the rock bottom at the apartment or the dorm. You know, they were there for them.
Yeah.
But it was always the two of them. It wasn't just Shawn and it wasn't just Angela. It was the two of them.
Yeah, always. Like, they should have been endgame for sure. And another one that I definitely want to talk about is probably one of the most famous sitcoms ever is Friends. So probably anyone listening would know who I'm about to talk about, which is Phoebe and Joey.
I don't think they should have been together.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Too much goof.
What? Phoebe and Joey? They were so perfect for each other.
I think it would have just been there for the comic relief. Like,
no.
Yeah.
No.
And I think that's why they didn't ultimately put them together in the show.
There's like a fan theory that they were hooking up for like all of the shows.
Oh, that I fully believe.
Dated Mike and married Mike, but like on the side as friends. But like oh my god, they were so cute and so sweet. They had such a genuine connection.
I fully believe that they were probably hooking up, but they were never.
Phoebe and Joey over Ross and Rachel 1,000,000,000,000,000,000%. Like, they were so cute. And like the only times that they ever were bad towards each other was when there was like a misunderstanding, and then they just said like, hey, this is why you bothered me, and then they were like, I'm sorry, I won't do that again.
My problem with them is, if you really think about it, it doesn't feel like those two characters shared a ton of screen time.
Really? I think
compared to any combination of the rest of them. And I think a lot of that has to do with when they're on the screen, they're the butt of the joke.
No.
Yes. Joey's the idiot.
Yeah.
And Phoebe is aloof. And that's the joke.
I guess, but like...
So to put them together would have caused a lot of awkwardness with who's going to be the butt of the joke in this scene.
But they were so strong together, and they had such a cute like flirtation also that came out just sometimes. Like, you know, they kissed occasionally, and Phoebe would be like, you know, I like whoever's making the most money, that's you, Joey, like as a joke, you know.
Yeah.
They just had such a cute like back and forth, and much less toxic than Ross and Rachel. I think that they should have ended up together.
I don't know that like in show it would have been a bad relationship, but for the show it would have been.
Like, I don't know that I liked Phoebe and Mike together really at all. Like, I love Paul Rudd.
How dare you hate on Paul Rudd?
I love Paul Rudd, but I don't think that was his best character, and I don't think that he was really that great for Phoebe. And like, not to mention, you know, from the conversations that Phoebe and Mike had versus like Phoebe and Joey, it seems like Mike was like not necessarily on the same page with Phoebe sexually as like Joey would have been.
Maybe.
You know, I don't know. I think that they should have been together. And I have one last one.
All right, what you got?
It's from Harry Potter. And I know you know what I'm going to say.
I don't know what you're going to say here.
Harry and Hermione. They should have been together. Period. End of sentence. Full stop. Harry and Hermione all the way. Ron and Hermione was such a first love kind of relationship to me. I mean, obviously, like, you know, we don't have really any kind of storyline of when, like, after they left Hogwarts and they were young adults and they ended up, you know, dating and getting engaged and marrying and things like that. But in school, I don't know, like, I just felt like Ron was, like, not that supportive of Hermione. Like, he always made fun of her. Like, it's that first love kind of romance when it's not that healthy. It's not, like, really that supportive. People don't really feel as free. Like, there's a lot of jealousy, you know. It just, I don't know, like, Ron and Hermione never really struck me as the end game for me.
I don't know. I think Hermione and Ron were there to show Ron's growth.
And Ron did grow. He did. But, like, I think that Harry respected Hermione in a way that Ron never did. And Hermione was really... If Harry ever could have been talked down, Hermione was going to be the one to do it. Like, if anyone was going to be able to get Harry to think in a different way or see things differently, like, they went on adventures separately of Ron. Like, it was Hermione all the time. And even J.K. Rowling, not that it necessarily means a lot because, you know, she does do a lot post-canon
right.
to say, like, this is what I meant. But even she said, like, she always had kind of imagined initially it being Harry and Hermione.
Yeah, I think it would have just been too much of the stereotype to put them together,
and I think that's why she didn't. Like, she didn't want it to be like, oh, the main protagonist guy and the main protagonist girl end up together. Like, I think that's probably why.
Yeah.
But the whole Harry and Ginny thing just, to me, seemed like it came out of complete left field. Like, it came from nowhere. Like, from one book to the next, he just developed a crush on her.
But she was obsessed with him from the beginning.
She was obsessed with him, and, like, I'm a little girl, and I have, like, a celebrity crush, and, like, it's really cute, and oh my gosh, what do I do? You know, in that kind of way. But it was never healthy until it, like, magically, no pun intended, was just in a book, in the next book. I think it was, book 5?
No, they got together in 6.
Okay.
Because she started to get an actual role in the series in 5 with the whole
she had a
Order
personality.
Of the Phoenix.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Cause
she was really background
the
through
whole Cho Chang thing was
4.
in 5.
Yeah, Cho Chang was in 5.
But yeah, it felt very much like, okay, I don't want to put Harry and Hermione together. Let me go ahead and slap some details together that makes it so it's like very clearly Harry and Ginny and Ron and Hermione.
Yeah.
Like, you don't think so?
I don't know. I think the person Harry should have ended up with is someone we didn't necessarily see. Like, just he's that celebrity. He's got that whole thing. It would have been better to have some other character down the line as his ultimate.
Yeah, like a muggle?
Not even necessarily a muggle, maybe. But, you know, somebody from another magical school or somebody else that he just meets along the way in his adult life probably would have been a better fit for Harry.
Maybe. I just always really loved Hermione and Harry. And, like, once it was made clear that that was not going to happen, I was like, okay, yeah, team Ron and Hermione. But, like, looking back, I don't know. I just think that Ron was never supportive of Hermione in the way that, like, she needed.
No, but I mean that's part of that whole arc is that Ron does grow.
Yeah, I mean
that's why there's that whole what about the house elves thing in 7.
And that's the first time in their entire relationship that he ever expresses any, like, care or interest in something that she feels so passionate about.
Right, he grew,
but it's like, okay, you know, you've been making fun of Hermione for, like, caring about, you know, and didn't even his own father say, like, look at how people treat, you know, people who are not of their equal to determine the kind of person they are? Yeah. His own dad said that, and yet Ron was still like, who cares about the house elves? But Hermione wanted a better life for them so badly. It was a huge passion of hers, and she did all of that work basically on her own. Yeah. But I think there was even, like, a line in, I think that was book 4, right?
The whole SPEW thing?
Yeah, where Harry, like, begrudgingly like wears the button or whatever for Hermione, and Ron doesn't even like bother. He's like, I'm not doing that. I don't care.
Well, yeah, but Ron was a prat through all of book 4.
Oh, a prat. I like that.
I mean, we gotta bust out the British terms here.
Yeah, for our listener in England, there you go.
Well, it's Harry Potter. It takes place in England.
Yeah. But I think that is all I have for tonight. Well, I think that it definitely is there's a lot of fictional characters who didn't, get the love ending that they deserve, I think.
Well, that'll do it for this episode of Marital Tiffs.
Let us know who we missed. Do you have any feelings about any particular fan bases or books or movies or shows that, some characters maybe should have ended up together and didn't? Let us know.
You can weigh in on all social media at Marital Tiffs, MARITALTIFFS, all one word, on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can also email us at maritaltiffs@gmail.com. Be sure to subscribe anywhere you find your podcast, and if you're an Apple Podcast listener, please rate and review us. You can find us on the 910 Comedy Podcast Networks. Check out 910 Comedy on Facebook, and check out our sister shows, That's Just My Face, Hometown Crowd, and Dead Girls Talking. Thanks for listening to Marital Tiffs.